Seven wonders of the ancient world. Can you name four of them? Probably not, but that's okay because most people actually don't understand and don't really know any of the ancient worlds anymore because they're from the ancient world. They really did play a good and significant role in the time and era of those that were living in it. All the way from the Great Pyramids all the way to the Lighthouse of Alexandria. And so, just with all these seven wonders, you have the Great Pyramids of Giza, you have the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the Temple of Artemis, the statue of Zeus, the mausoleum at Halicarnassus, and then you have the Colossus of Rhodes, and then the Lighthouse of Alexandria. All of these really did play a significant role being built in the time area. It also just shows really great human achievement throughout sculptures and other things like that. So the Great Pyramids of Giza was actually built in Egypt. Hopefully you guys knew that one. But it's actually the only wonder to have survived to present day. There's actually three pyramids built, and they're roughly built around 2700 BC to 2500 BC. And actually the total weight is actually 6.5 million tons for one pyramid. So that's just kind of incredible that the people that actually had to build that definitely had some bad claims after that one. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon was said to kind of be built actually in modern-day Iraq. Speculation shows that the Hanging Gardens of Babylon might not even been real, but if it is real, it would be in Iraq, in modern-day Iraq. It was built by Nebuchadnezzar II. It was actually for his homesick lover, and then she was from the Medea area, which actually has some flesh floral arrangements, and so he actually built like 75 feet tall pillars with flowers coming out of it. So really a great spectacle of just beauty and kind of having essentially a great feat of agriculture being irrigating water into that system as well. You also do have the statue of Zeus. That was actually placed in the temple of Zeus in Olympia. And so that was really built around the mid-5th century BC. The statue of Zeus actually was decorated entirely out of gold and ivory. It was roughly about 40 feet tall, and so just with that, this also kind of just shows that, 40 feet tall is actually kind of reaching the roof and ceiling of the temple itself, so it's really huge. A little fun fact, kind of going back to ancient like literature and scriptures and things like that, talked about the statue of Zeus actually being struck by lightning, and then after that, obviously him being the god of gods and of lightning, it kind of just goes to show that, he kind of resides there now and lives there. Also, you do have the Temple of Artemis, another kind of tribute to the pagan gods, the mythological gods that the Romans and Greeks had at the time. So actually, it wasn't just one Temple of Artemis, but actually was several that actually were destroyed by earthquakes and other means, but were rebuilt at the city of Ephesus. Also, they kind of restored all those together to build to build two temples instead of just having a bunch of other ones littered around. The mausoleum at Halicarnassus was actually made entirely of white marble, roughly 135 feet high. It was actually a tomb from Mausoleum's wife to himself, from her to him, because really just building a tomb just to kind of cherish the memories that they had, obviously being a great man of power and being like the king and emperor of their little area. That was their best way to kind of show respect like that. Little did she know that become an ancient wonder of the world, and so they found different parts, and archaeologists find different little areas of that. You have the Colossus of Rhodes, and that was a huge bronze sculpture. When I say huge, it was actually roughly about 100 feet high, and is actually sculpted of the sun god Helios. It was built around 280 BC. It was actually stood for about 60 years before it fell because of an earthquake. It wasn't rebuilt or anything like that, but actually was deconstructed and used as scrap metal for other things at the time. It's actually said to be the inspiration of the Statue of Liberty herself. And then lastly, you have the Lighthouse of Alexandria. This was built roughly around 270 BC. Like most lighthouses obviously guide ships in and out, and this lighthouse isn't any different. It just happens to be 380 feet tall. And so this one actually did the same purpose by keeping the Nile ships safe going in and out of the harbor. Something that's kind of cool that over roughly 300 years, was being slowly destroyed by earthquakes and things like that. But they found different pieces of the lighthouse itself at the bottom of the Nile, so it's kind of cool. They're still finding pieces like that. All of this is actually kind of important, not really for present day now. This is more fun information. But back in the day, that was actually huge pinnacle feats that even like travelers coming from like Europe and other places like that were inspired during the Renaissance because of these sculptures and these other things that were built for society. So I just think that's really cool, really awesome that people have taken so much money and so many resources to build such an incredible feat of human achievements, especially at their time with all their engineering feats as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little information about the great 7 wonders of the ancient world.